Welcome back to the section about lists and form. In this video we will look at forms and the particular functions and features related to forms. So let's dive into the instance again. I am in an incident form because when you demo something general you go to an incident form. And let me start off with some basic shortcuts that are being added. So when I edit something, normally I would use the UI action, but a very simple enhancement is I can hit Command S to save a record. Similar when I would hit Command Shift S, it would try to do an insert and stay. But on incidents that is not a valid action, so I cannot do it. The next thing is Command V. When we have, normally it can be quite a hassle to create a screenshot. I'll be creating a simple screenshot just with a shortcut in macOS. So I added something to my clipboard. When I hit Command V, I can copy or I can add that screenshot to the record. And when I want, I can also rename that to give it a logical name. And now when I reload the form, we see that it has been added. And in this case, it's also in the activity stream. So maybe you noticed that reloading a form, there's also a small enhancement. Normally you would go here and go to reload form, but as in Utils, in some empty space of the header bar, do a double click and it will reload the form. So some basic shortcuts that are being added. So next up is create a filter when control clicking labels. So when I control or again command for Mac click on a label, I can build up a filter. And when I once again hit something that I have hit before, then it will remove it again. And from here I can click on it and it will open that filter in a new tab. Next up is a label to double click values, or double click labels to edit or show values. So I have double clicked this label and now it shows me that the value is 3 over here. And I could also edit it from here. When I set it to 1, it changes to 1. Same for example here, when I double click a reference field, it gives me the sysid. I could change it here, but when I double click assign to and paste it here, it will add that. And in this case it is not valid, so let's remove it again. But I hope you get the idea. Next one is view data, and view data is in the pop-up of the extension. So I'm clicking here, I go to the view data tab, and here it shows me all the fields. So what I like to call this is a supercharged way of show XML. It doesn't only show me the name and the value, but it shows the label as well as the type and the display value. And when it is a display value, you can click on it and the underlying record will be opened. The first row is always the table and the sysid. So, and what this is useful for example, let me quickly open Agent Workspace with a slash command. Now that I have opened up an incident in Agent Workspace and I click on the icon again, it also works view data in other views like Service Portal or Agent Workspace. And what can be handy is directly switching back to the classic view. So from here, from the first row, I can always navigate to the classic view of a record. Next up, again, technical names. So /tn apply technical names. And here you get the same insights as when you see a list or a related list. It will add the number beside the name beside the label. And not only that, you can always click on the color, the reference field, and it will open up a list from there, or when you command click, it will open up the record itself. And some other fields have other behavior. When you click the list and then click on the hyperlink, it will open a list with all the underlying values. And when you have a translation field, it will open up the underlying translations. So depending on the field type, you might have other behavior when you click on the hyperlink that's being added. So another thing what you can do is what has been added when you apply technical names. It will show the table name over here. You will be able to view the scratch pad and toggle label. If you do that, you will only see the field name and not the label. So when you toggle it again, the label will be shown again. Another thing that is added is every UI action gets a question mark behind it, and when you click it, it will directly open that UI action. And when you command click that question mark, it will show you the sysid. So the next one, some slash commands in particular useful for forms. So one is, for example, unhide. So when I apply /unhide, there you see that the on-hold reason that is normally not visible only when some particular state occurs. So this gives you the opportunity to view all the fields on your table. This is only available for admins and when you are impersonating. Otherwise, this function will not work. Similar one is unmandatory. When I do /um, you see that the mandatory state is removed. Next up is /XML. This is just the classic show XML, but it opens it in a persistent state in a new tab. /pop, a classic one, get the full UI. It also has a direct link to a shortcut, so when I do command 2, it also calls the pop function. Another one, when let me empty some mandatory fields. When I now do /rnd, it will try to fill all mandatory fields that are on the table. So this can also be done on Portal. So let me quickly go to Portal with the /command sp. Now I'm in a service request with some mandatory fields. Also here I can do the /rnd to fill the mandatory fields with random values. And here you can also apply the technical names, and it will add the basic variable names to the request item. Let me quickly go to a business rule. So when I'm in a business rule and I don't have the version related list, the versions is a good one, and it shows me all the version history of that record. So normally the preference would be the related list, but when you don't want to modify it, you can use this / command. Last but not least, a few switches. So as I showed in the list section, you can also apply some direct switches over here. For example, /RA. it will open the REST API Explorer with the current table prefixed to it. It takes some time to load, but here now you see it that it has pre-filled with incident. Another one is /DOS-ERD, and it will open the schema map of the current table. So this is it. Thank you again for your attention, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.